Hey everybody.
Hey guys.
You might notice we don't have a picture. And that's because I think my camera is crapped out. Maybe. I don't know. But it hasn't handled any the change in setup that I've done to it the last couple of days. And we are already way behind, so I decided to just say, you know what? Let's just do it with audio.
So I hope you forgive us for that, but we've got some good stuff for you.
We do. So, I don't know if we want to go into, hey, we got this right, or if we want to start there, or if we just want to launch into the episode and just cover it as we go.
Let's cover it as we go.
Okay.
Are we going to do the episode, or are we going to go character by character?
Character by character. I think I like doing it that way.
I do too.
Provided we can go quickly.
Yes. If you're in chat, keep us on topic. Who are you going to start with?
It's up to you.
Let's start with Jester. I don't have a lot, but I have something that I'm going to put into my evidence for Garmelli being the Traveler.
Yep.
So, Caleb talks about the Feywild and Frumpkin and going to the Feywild and stuff, and Jester pipes in, oh, there's this and that and this, and Ford's like, wait, is that another city? And, he talks about it, Caleb talking about it being another plane, Jester's like, yeah, and this and this. And Caleb was like, you know about the Feywild? Did your mom tell you stories? She's like, no, the Traveler told me. And then, almost as an afterthought or a cover-up, she's like, he's told me about a lot of places.
Right?
Which, I think, he's from the Feywild, so...
Yeah, exactly.
Makes sense. I'm putting that as another evidence in my cup that Garmelli is the Traveler.
And I agree. That's one of the only things I have written down for Jester.
Yeah, me too. So... that and her and the group as a whole's over expenditure of resources in her little fisticuffs with Bo.
And I cast inflict wounds.
So yeah, we can go and jump into that real quick because resources used. They used a first level spell slot with inflict wounds.
Yep.
We don't know if she did that if she intended to do that, or if that was a response to Caleb blowing a third level spell to haste Bo. Bo spent, I think, 3 key points. Molly spent his only blood maledage for the day and took hit point damage to do it.
Yep.
Because he amplified it. Plus the hit dice they had to spend in the short rest to recover said wounds from that fight. That's a lot to kick off an episode.
Yeah.
Especially for friendly PvP.
Quote unquote friendly.
But yeah.
Yeah. The other one that I got is how angry Laura was. I think she said Caleb fucked me 3 times in the episode.
Yeah, and then she said, then Caleb fucked me, and Matt's like, well, kinda, but you chose to.
He did pick a fist fight with a monk.
Which then Marisha tweeted, you chose a fist fight with a monk is the new you brought a knife to a gunfight.
Right. And that she is basically now the driver.
Yes, which is more evidence for our folk hero background because they get land vehicles.
Yeah, I hadn't even thought about that, like that angle.
That's why she keeps saying, because she's got proficiency in land vehicles, because she's a folk hero.
Yeah. I hadn't...
Every time she says that, I'm like, because you're a folk hero, that's why you have handle animals, that's why you have land vehicles.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's all but she has to say it on stream confirmed for me.
Yeah, that's true.
That's about as confirmed as you can get without her saying, "I am a folk hero."
Yeah.
Which I was thinking, what if she's getting help leaving because she is a folk hero and she is the disillusioned kid that was just raised by the brothel? That's a stretch, I know.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure she is the kid, but
Yeah.
I really want to hold on to that because that her just personality says that to me.
Yeah. I understand.
I can't get past that. I know that she is the mom.
But I gave up on the Feywild angle. You're gonna have to give up on it.
Yeah. I have and all, but like that's just her personality. Her personality screams that.
Yeah.
Although going back to the Feywild and Garmelian, that conversation, Caleb, I had a theory that when he was talking about how attached he is to Frumpkin and prefers him as a cat, and that whole conversation when he was going to turn him back to a bird for Ford, and Ford was like, no, God, you're sensitive, and thought hit me from the previous week. Okay, so we know that Frumpkin is a real-life cat that real-life Liam had as a kid.
Yeah.
What if Frumpkin is also a real imaginary cat that Caleb had as a kid and lost in that fire with his parents, and that's why he's so attached? He created this familiar as a way to stay close to his parents after what he did.
Yeah, and I like that. I hadn't put that together, hadn't considered it, but yeah, that makes total sense.
We also find out that he knows Celestial. I'm not sure that was ever confirmed before.
No, I don't think it was.
And we saw a new scam between he and Nott called Modern Literature.
Yeah, which I thought was funny.
I thought it was very funny.
Well, at least that they named it that.
Yes. That's what I had for Caleb.
For me, I also don't have a lot on Caleb for this episode. We had a couple episodes in a row that were heavy Caleb and Nott, and this one. Caleb was very much in the background this episode.
Well, Nott and Yasha are my two big ones.
Yeah, other than we now know he has haste and slow.
Yes.
But how much, I need to have someone in the artwork community do a version of Caleb and the Dave Chappelle Show meme. You got any more of them ink and paper?
Yeah, that'd be great. Also with Caleb, I want to touch on Nott's flask real quick.
Okay.
The Eric Andre meme, where he's got the gun and he's shooting, and it's got someone's name, Republicans or Democrats or whatever you want to bash, and then what you don't like, and then why did the other person do that? He's got that meme taped to the flask. It says Caleb for Eric Andre. The dead people are Caleb's parents, and then it says at the bottom, "Why would Trent do this?"
Yeah.
Which was great. Liam didn't really react to it. Laura saw it and started busting up at one point. But usually about a third of the way through the episode, Sam positions it so Laura can see, and Laura has a laugh. So, and that's usually when he gets in frame enough that I can get a good look at it because I can't pause the live stream.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, I watch for that so I can see because I enjoy them.
Yeah.
Do you have anything for Molly?
I have a little bit.
Okay.
And the biggest one is his Riker hop.
Yes.
I
A full Riker hop.
too enjoyed that. And I hope he integrates that into his character. I hope that's the thing that Molly starts doing now, all the time.
Vision, mockery, and Riker hops.
I love that he worried that the orc had a torture basement. And he says as much to the half-orc who doesn't like being associated with orcs.
Yeah.
He's
looking for reactions. He's playing, like I said, he's playing that wisdom social.
Well, I don't think that was the comment at all. I think this episode was really interesting from a sociological perspective on biases, implicit ones and ones that you don't know that you have.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting that they're playing with those from a lot of different angles.
Yes.
And I don't know, I can't even say that it's intentional because I don't think it is. But it's just, this episode in particular, that was the theme of the episode for me.
Okay. I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah. And loved it. He just got into the mix. Got up, activated the blade, moved in, and just started hacking at folks.
Yeah.
I was just like, yes, do it.
That was cool. I still think he's going to be better off as a skirmisher. He's going to be more effective.
But that's all I have for Mollywalk.
Okay.
I've noticed that Taliesin has been very much in the background, and for the first campaign, he was a lot like that too.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was a carryover from the home game, where he basically was Matt's assistant DM / teacher of the other players. Yeah. So I don't know if that's still bleeding over. I don't know if that's his leftover Percy, as it were.
It could be. I've been taking it as Molly is trying to force himself into the background because so much came out so quickly. And he's trying to draw attention away from all of that and having to delve into all of that.
I can see that too. Yeah, for sure.
So, little column A, little column B.
Yeah.
Let's jump over to Ford since you brought up the orc.
Okay.
And so the orc, I thought there was something very off about it. I thought there had to be more. He was way too civilized, just a full orc, living somewhere
alone.
And you caught something I didn't.
Yeah.
And you mentioned it earlier, so I'm going to let you take that as we delve into Ford, and then I've got something to add to it that kind of made something I noticed make more sense. So,
okay. I noticed Travis's body language when Matt described an orc answering the door change.
Yes.
And he seemed very happy he wasn't at the door, that he was around the corner. And I started thinking, I was like, what if this orc is his dad?
Yeah.
Because we haven't heard him talk about his dad.
Right.
He did say he was the only half-orc.
Yes. The only one of his kind.
Now, we don't know which one of his parents is the orcish parent.
Correct.
That hasn't been established yet. But in the tradition of
D&D.
Well, and, women in general, women tend to keep the child and the dude runs off.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
I mean, so did he go to sea to try to find his dad? Was that why he went to sea? Or did he go to sea to get away from everything?
Right.
So that's the other thing. But yeah, I was just like, what if this is his dad? And I was like, when that thought occurred to me, all I wanted was Ford to like walk around the corner
Right.
and they have the Vader moment.
Well, and
like I said,
like you mentioned, hide armor.
Yeah.
He's got the hide armor that's sentimental to him. So sentimental he paid to have an enchantment switch.
Yep.
What
if that armor was made by his dad?
Yeah. The one thing I noticed is Ford acquiesced to the group, but there was something about Travis that almost seemed reluctant in taking both jobs from the gentleman. And where they're going first is the job that they picked up on the side.
I don't think Ford wants to be working with him.
And what I was wondering is does he know that's where, now that you mentioned that, does he know that's the direction Dad is and he doesn't want to bump into Dad?
Oh.
And that's why he was for the other job and reluctantly agreed when everyone pushed him to accept both jobs.
Yeah.
Because that was the thing that I had, was that he didn't want to take both jobs. He was very hesitant about it. You know, his body language, and he's like, oh, I guess we're taking both jobs, you know. And I just, something about it seemed off. He didn't want the second job. He only wanted the one.
And see, and in talking about that now, my thought process was that Ford doesn't want to be working with the gentleman. He would rather be working for the Empire. But that gets into, that thought comes from my meta plan that I think Matt's going for.
See, and if that were true, then why did when Bo was like, hey, let's check up on, what's his face? Sorry.
Because Molly is dead set against working for the Empire.
But when she said that, the person who Ford was like, we did our part of the job, let's just go. It's better to...
Yeah, but that, well, from his perspective, that's just, we did what we were hired, what we agreed to do. Our part in that is done. And I think that's part of his get it done and move on. But I think from the perspective of who is going to be who benefits from their efforts,
right?
And how do their actions tip the moral compass, the scales in the Empire? I think that's what Ford is beginning to worry about. Because Ford, in that fight where we were talking about off the top of the episode, Ford, when Molly uses his blood maledict, he says, keeping it fair. I like it.
Okay.
So I think he's more worried and doesn't want to get deeper and deeper in with the gentleman. And doing 2 missions when they can be doing 1.
I can see that. I still think, and it basically put the puzzle pieces together for me for the note that I had on Ford.
Yeah, and so the note that I have in here for that bit is the limit of their ambition is government work. Because Ford makes the joke, there appears to be no limit to my friend's ambitions. And I was like, yeah, just not government work.
Yeah.
And one interesting thing, and this also is why I say the theme for this episode was prejudices and biases, is because right off the bat, Ford tries to make an effort to engage the ogre.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see.
You have anything else for Ford?
Just his comment about the church group flirting between Bo and Yasha was hilarious. And that he did take Thirsting Blade.
Yeah, the Thirsting Blade. He did take Thirsting Blade. That was, not by name, but mentioned.
Yeah.
With the extra attacks and the...
Yeah. And I think we had talked about Booming Blade and
we talked.
Blade.
Yeah, and he did take Booming Blade. And what I noted earlier was that it makes him a pseudo sentinel.
Yeah.
You leave, I use that as my reaction. Now, if you do leave, so either they get you because they're next to me and you don't.
Once he has the Warcaster, he can do that.
He does have the Warcaster feat. That's what he took at 4th level.
Oh. Well, no. He wouldn't, because Matt would be busting his balls about, do you have your falchion or not? Are we sure he has Warcaster?
Yes. He said it in talks. He said it on stream.
Okay.
He took Warcaster.
I thought so, which is why, like, Matt keeps asking, you have the shield in one hand and the falchion in the other. Like, that shouldn't matter if he has Warcaster, though.
For somatic components. Not if it requires material components.
Except as a Hexblade Warlock, his weapon is Arcane Focus.
It's true.
So that fulfills the material component.
Okay. Then, yeah. Up to 100 GP worth.
Well, any gold cost.
Okay.
If the material component has a gold cost, you have to have that thing.
Okay.
Hi to all of you joining us. I noticed there's something of a list now in the viewers.
Hey guys.
We don't have my camera, so that's why we've got this setup going today.
Moving over to, we got Yasha and Not left.
And Bo.
And Bo.
Well, I mentioned Bo and Yasha, so I guess we can talk about them because.
All right.
Beauregard. So she was so excited that there was a fight going on.
Yes.
And so was everybody else.
And
They
I
didn't bother asking why, who was fighting who.
Yes. They knew it was Lewis and Ted.
Now, several episodes ago,
Okay.
we talked about the fact that I expected the gentleman to find out exactly who gave them his information.
Right.
And then he would be able to put together that it was Ted.
Yeah.
Lewis fucked up on a mission.
Yeah. You think this was a punishment?
Yep.
See, okay, and here's the reason I don't. If it was a punishment, the gentleman would have been someplace where he could watch it. He was at the back of the crowd and trying to peer around people to watch it. They made mention of that because that's what Jester said. Get up on the table, you can see better.
No, because the gentleman doesn't care who comes out on top. The point of the activity is that both of them have to beat the shit out of each other to get back in his good graces, to prove they are worthy, to remain in his good graces.
Okay.
And that's why Lewis was so depressed at the bar.
Yeah. See, I thought of that at first, but then I was like, no, because he would have been somewhere where you could view it and see who put their heart and effort into it.
He doesn't care. Because if you remember, he applauded the guy who cheated.
It's true.
So
Well, I didn't say he expected it to be a fair fight. I said he wanted to see who put their heart and soul into
and
it.
he wants to know who's
Willing to do whatever it takes.
but that only requires him to find out who's the last man standing. It doesn't require him to watch the whole thing.
It's true.
So yeah, that was the first thing right off the top of the episode. I was like, oh, okay, so that's what's going on. We have her wanting the bracers.
Yeah.
And
holy shit, Pumas.
And really, was it 1,250 gold?
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a +2 AC.
But when you're poor, you're poor.
Yeah, well, that was the other funny exchange. Because Ford's like, I got it. How do you have that much money?
Yeah. He sold Shelby.
One thing I thought was hilarious is when Caleb's like, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. And Marisha looks like she almost goes to scratch his back.
Yeah.
And I was like, I laughed pretty good at that one.
You know, and I'm not sure, like, I think it's a lot of Marisha bleeding into Bo, why Bo was so excited about Fight Club.
Yeah.
I think Bo is a lot of that side of Marisha's personality.
Yeah, for sure. And then when it comes time for the watch to be chosen, she's like, I'm with Yasha.
Yep.
And everyone's like, oh. And I think some people expected a similar thing to happen between Ford and Jester when they ended up taking watch together.
Yeah.
But it didn't.
No.
And that interaction was hilarious. Speaking of Yasha, because that's all I have for Bo.
Same.
Yasha's like, this is as far as I've ever been.
Yeah.
And I love Sam romantically.
Yeah.
If you didn't catch it, because he whispered it was super quiet. Yeah, I laughed. She likes to press wild flowers.
Yeah.
I'm sad she doesn't use an axe. Insert Monty Python joke here.
Yes.
They have decided, I think, that Barracuda is her theme song when she puts up her necrotic shroud.
Yeah. When she did finally pop, we've been begging for it since episode 1.
Yep. Well, once they hit third level, because they don't get that.
Yeah. Well, we've been looking forward to it since, and we've been begging for it since.
Yeah.
You know, and as soon as she said, "Don't worry," all I'll say was like, she's gonna do it right now. I'm looking at the map, and she's gonna go right there. She won't be within 10 feet of her, and sure enough, that's exactly what she did. I mean, I'm sitting there like, "You're gonna go right there."
Yep.
She pops it. Everyone loses their shit.
Yeah.
Including me, and I knew it was coming.
And especially Travis.
Yes.
Yeah. Once again, Travis is our avatar at the table.
Couple interesting things when they question her about it. Just as like, can you fly? No. Have you tried? Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was hilarious. I thought that was funny. And I was like, oh man.
And can all Jorasians do this? And she's like, well, no. And she's kind of, are you an angel? No. And then Caleb and Celestial.
No, really? Are you?
Yeah. Are you? Well, kind of. And Matt makes the statement, you know, after a second, you don't know why or how you know this language, but you do.
Yeah.
Which I was like, Dan called it. Because several episodes ago, we were talking about the possibility of...
When we were talking about, I think it was episode 2 or 3, if not 1, we were talking about their origins. Like, if she's an Asimar and a barbarian, we talked about the
possibility of a zealot.
And I was like,
you said
she could be returned from the dead.
Yeah.
That could be the angle we're working.
Yeah.
But another possibility does exist.
Yes, which you brought up, which my tiefling is.
Yep. The tiefling heritage chart in Xanathar's has you were just a weirdly expressed.
Both of your parents are humans. Your heritage was unknown until you were born.
Yeah. So it's possible that she took that version for the Asimar.
Yeah. And that's possible too.
So yeah.
Side note, not character related. Fortunately for Ashley, congratulations, but unfortunately for the show, Blindside didn't get picked up for season 4.
Yeah.
So Ashley will be going away, although you made a different comment. And I don't know her personally, but she doesn't seem like the type that would push for it. Think she would take it if it was offered, but with the amount of income that Critical Role is generating, thinking by billboards, it may be that Blindside says, hey, we'll make sure you leave early on Thursday and get a late call on Friday so you can be part of this other thing that you're in.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think
there are people who do 2 shows all the time, and the shows make it work.
Yeah. So I think that, and I've said that Geek and Sundry probably has the clout now in Hollywood.
Yeah.
That they can, that if they wanted to ask for that, they could, or at least make it sure that she doesn't have late times Thursday and has late calls Friday.
Right.
To give her the time.
And, you know, I don't see, again, not a Hollywood person, I don't see why that would be a problem. I think that's something that's very possibly workable. We'll see. Again, I don't think, what I've seen of Ashley, I don't think that's her personality to ask for that. Geek and Sundry,
Yeah.
Blind Spot might offer it. It's kind of a sweetener.
Well, we know that the writers' room are fans of the show.
Right, they sneak in stuff all the time. You know, there's one, she gets signs like, can you do this? I can certainly try. She has the critical role mug that we have here that you can't see because the camera's not working. But in the past episodes, you've seen it.
Yeah.
She's got that on her desk. She said, how do you want to do this in the show at one point? So she's worked, you know, the writers have worked things in for Critical Role for her.
Yeah.
So I think there's a very good possibility that could come to pass. Should we jump into Not?
Yeah. Because
Since we have 9 minutes before Talks.
Yeah.
The big one. She is very uncomfortable as a goblin. So I think you are wrong in that she's been polymorphed and wants Caleb to learn. I think she wants Caleb to learn true polymorph to change her, but I don't think it's because she was polymorphed into a goblin.
The evidence for that theory is weakening, although I haven't given it up because she is looking for that.
That's fair. And I talked to you a little bit about this earlier. Before we hit that, they're asking her about goblins and how she felt fighting goblins. She's like, I'm just sad when we got away.
Yeah.
They start asking her about goblin culture because, you know, they haven't had a lot.
Do you hate yourself because you're a goblin?
Right. She said, Jester says, you know, my parents said, my mom would say they would still do naughty kids, but they didn't have to be naughty. But did you eat them? Take it easy now. We would share with the whole clan, but of course we would eat them. You know? And then she says, but I would never eat a child.
Yeah. And then she later admits to Caleb.
Well, here's the thing though. This is what I thought before she admitted the thing to Caleb. They established when they were trying to figure out her age and they dubbed her 9 that 6 is an adult for a goblin. So if the kid was 6, she was eating an adult in her mind.
I had not considered that, but that is an interesting angle to technically tell a half-truth, for sure.
So, and then she does say she tasted the baby once. It was in a goulash.
Yeah.
She didn't know till afterwards. Okay, but here's my theory. And I have 2 things. One I can talk to you about. Okay, I think she's got body dysmorphia, personality, you know, racial dysmorphia, if you will, over being a goblin. And I think this is because if you look at the Tal'Dorei campaign setting, in page 125 to 126, it talks about goblinoids and why they're so different. And the betrayer gods cursed the Duwalian people who were native to Wildemount. That's why there's so many more Wildemount than Tal'Dorei. And punished them by permanently leaving them like that because they failed to conquer Tal'Dorei. But they would, when they needed just regular slaves, they turned them into goblins, and when they needed spies, they turned them into bugbears.
Yeah.
And they would give them this bloodthirst and these goblinoid attributes from normal people. I think it was even a subrace of humans. It doesn't specifically state, but that's kind of how they make it sound. What if her being in the body of a goblin but not being appalled at those things is a sign of that, a symptom of that curse weakening and even starting to break, which feeds into our betrayer gods as the final boss, specifically the Chained Oblivion.
Being represented by the Tarrasque.
And being, well, just being represented in the culture and, you know, all of that good stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We've said that this whole thing and, you know, that the empire falling apart is going to be a symptom of that, and this, what if she's a symptom of that?
Yeah.
Um,
Any of you that played Vampire the Masquerade, the thinning blood of Cain, the 13th, 14th generation vampires whose blood is so weak they can't pass on the curse, being a sign of Gehenna.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of idea.
Exactly. And then the other thing, this Doolin Travasky she keeps asking about, that's the halfling that she tried to escape with, but they went in different directions.
Are we sure about that?
I think it might be. I think that's why she's looking for him, why she's keeping an ear out for him. She wants to know if he made it safe. I'm not saying for sure, but that's the thought that occurred to me.
Yeah, I guess I can see that.
Did you have a different theory?
Well, I think it's the wizard that they met. At the dinner party there.
That she keeps asking about?
Yeah.
Why did she ask about him?
Because I think he's the one that polymorphed her.
Okay. Yeah. So you're holding on to that as evidence for your theory.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. I have mine, you have yours. One or neither of us will be right.
So real quick, we got to get into what's going on with time is a precious thing. Got 3 minutes left on the clock. DM speculations and timing stuff. So, and I got a lot of it. I don't know how much you've got.
I was more focused on the characters this time around, so I don't have much there.
Okay. So. First, out of the blue, wild speculation. Dweezy is going to be a villain.
Oh yeah, that's. That's been settled in my mind since his first heckle.
Yeah. So.
Dweez is not loyal to the gentleman.
Yeah. We learned from the gentleman that the entire garrison at the Ashkeep was massacred.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a defeat. It wasn't just an attack. It was a massacre. The gentleman's schemes are where the party is siding.
Yes.
Which I think plays into they are going to help the collapse of the empire.
Okay.
All of their actions are pushing towards they are going to be the cause of very bad things.
Okay.
But so we've got the Mardoon in Shady Creek, and to open the smuggling route. And Ford only wanted to do the smuggling route. He didn't want to get involved in that hive of scum and villainy at the border.
Right.
And again, I think it's because he wants to work for the Empire. I think he wants to not help the criminal types.
And I don't think he cares enough.
So I say that and I'm about to disprove myself. So one of the things that Ford says is that the establishment can take care of itself. Basically is what he says.
Okay.
But I think that has more to do with so I was going to get political, but we don't have the time.
Yeah, we are at a minute, so
yeah.
give us your best hit
So, well, I won't get into it, but it has to do with showing up and making change.
Okay.
If you're not going to show up, you can't make the change. The Genasi that we have met in the story are indicative of which side of the conflict they are on. The Earth Genasi is with the state and represents stability, and the Water Genasi is with the free folk, the criminals, and represents change. And the ogres working with the goblins and the wolves, they had red and purple paint on. I think we are going to meet the hobgoblin or bugbear running things next episode.
Okay.
There's my story speculations. Did I get under the wire?
We're right there.
Okay, guys.
It's time to go. We'll see ya.
We're going to go watch Talks. See you later, guys.